reality really kicked in that I am completely homeless.
I experienced oral molestation from my mother's husband.
So I was really angry with God. I've been raped as a kid. You made me born deaf.
I went through drugs, prostitution, and I go to this room with this guy and I can hear people in the bathroom. I was tied up. Every orifice of my body was touched.
Mommy's not responsive. She's not breathing. She's cold. I said, call 911. I'm coming home.
Okay, well, we're back for the second half of this heart-touching story with Ms. Davika Williams. As we was informed on last week, she's a twin. Both her and her twin sister were raped at 3 years old, penetrated at 3 years old. And from that, she have experienced numerous other events of being raped and other experiences at home and at school. So bringing us from that point, from where we left off, okay, in your school life, what happened after that?
Well, yeah, so I'm saying, middle school years, going to high school is when I learned about advocacy. I started traveling the country, talking about anti-bullying, because I went through bullying.
Okay.
After the rape, because again, like I said, I was raped by a notorious gang in the community, and a lot of people were not happy with me calling them out.
Was they ever convicted?
Well, the ones who actually raped me and another, she was actually a twin too, and another young lady, they were deported because they weren't from here.
Okay.
And they kept doing repeated criminals. They kept doing crimes.
Okay.
And so that particular crime got them sent back
Okay.
to their country. They were deported.
Okay. So moving forward from 14, 15, 16, where were, as you can recall, what was life like after that?
It was rough for me navigating home life. After that, my sister and I, we had our first really twin odds. My sister was a little embarrassed by some of the stuff that happened in middle school. She just wanted to play in the background. Demetria always battled with depression, like I said, from starting young. And it was rough for us a little bit. We went through a little patch. But it was like a full year. We literally was like in the house. It was almost like we really didn't talk.
Wow.
I was in my own little island of Patmos, so to speak,
Okay.
within the house. But I didn't let it tear up my spirit. I literally just felt like it was just my drive. I think it was for me to prove everybody wrong.
Okay.
So all the negative things they want to say about me is like, no, I'm gonna prove them that they're not right. I even had family members be like, oh, she gonna be a prostitute. She gonna be, I can say, she gonna be a hoe. She gonna be this and this and that.
Right.
And I was determined I was not gonna be that.
Right.
And so like I did, I studied hard, buckled down in my books, and I went to, and we wound up going to a alternative school that was chartered because we had very good test scores. That was the best decision that we made in the high school. It was a phenomenal turnaround.
So now we're on the high.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I was like, I should have been here since freshman year. Because we
Okay.
was jumping from magnet program to magnet program. One magnet school I went to, I was shot at. Because I went to the colorism thing in South Florida.
Okay.
Light skin, long hair, talk very proper. You think you better than us. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, that was never my dynamic.
Right.
So I went through colorism a lot, even from middle school to high school. That was why I got set up to be raped, because the girl thought she think her dude was checking me out. She allowed me to get that light-skinned girl. So I went through a lot of the colorism stuff in South Florida. But that last school, oh man, again, I started traveling the country, getting kids talking about anti-bullying, peer pressure, and mediation, helping cause other schools to put in pockets. Demetria and I wrote curriculums, in high school about peer mediation and conflict resolution. And so at the end of our high school years, we sailed off. It was on a high mark. I ended up number one in my class at the time, salutatorian, had other opportunities for me to travel the country. And that's where my honing in on my public speaking skills and oratorical skills was really cultivated and put on a level at a platform that was even as far beyond my years, even as a high school student.
Okay, that's amazing. And what I find fascinating is that both you and your sister were models, right?
Well, I started out modeling. She didn't want to be a model.
Okay.
So I was discovered, I attended a historically black college in the Miami area. And I was discovered one day during, it was fall midterms, And I remember I was sitting there at Denny's and I was studying with one of my fraternity brothers, and I was like, ooh, man, I said, if I had my makeup done, if I was cute, I bet you they would pick me. So while we're eating, we're studying, there's a Christian designer, she walked over to my table. She said, excuse me, and I was like, yes. She said, you're the plus size model I'm looking for.
Wow.
No makeup on. I'm sitting there like, huh? Like, I'm talking. They're
Right.
like, man, I seen them, they had like hundreds of comp cards. And I just told him, I was like, man, I would be the model, da 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 da. So when she came over and said that, my mouth dropped. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
And that's when I got my first
Okay.
breakthrough in the modeling industry. And my first debut fashion show, I fashioned show for, can I say which model it was?
Yeah, that's fine.
So basically, it was like Tyra Banks and Kimora Lee.
Okay.
They had like a big fashion show in South Beach.
Yeah, that is huge.
So that's how I debuted as a
Okay.
professional. And then from there, so most of the plus size celebrities, I wore a lot of their gowns that they wore at the Grammys or the red carpet. And I just traveled all over the country, started ripping models, ripping the
amazing.
runways. And that, even in college, I became like a campus queen. That was actually the first time, I think it was my sophomore year going into my junior year, where I actually ran for a pageant.
Okay.
Because I was always president, SGA president from elementary, like I always some type of leadership position. And that was the first time that I went out to be queen. And the girls, campus went crazy. They was like, you my queen. And I didn't realize people looked up to me because I was dressed nice. They were like, oh honey, you gonna win. You my queen. You represent girls who look like me. And that's when my whole body positivity,
Yes.
when I got into it, because remember my body was
Yes.
ugly. Like my body was the cause of me to be raped and shamed.
Right.
And that catapulted the world of beauty and in telling young ladies that overcome self-esteem and body issues. I had a women's group on my campus. It had started out from us working out to me giving them psychotherapy. My clinical director was like, he says, listen, Davika, I have colleagues who are clinical psychologists and can't do what you are doing right
Yes.
now, even with a group this size.
Yes.
He was like, he said he was gonna tell me to make my group smaller. He goes, nope, do you. Be great.
And the amazing part, and I can't do nothing but smile because now we're on the happy part.
Yes.
But the amazing part is to experience all of that because it's easy to fall into a tragedy and to be lost into that. But you turned that pain and you made it powerful, and you gave your voice and you showed women that hey, you may have a rough start, you may have been molested, raped, but you can still be this great, beautiful, vibrant person. So that by itself needs an applaud.
Thank you.
Okay,
It was
love
rough.
it.
It was rough. Because people always used to try to always dim my light.
Right.
You too bubbly. You got too much personality.
Right.
And people always just try to mute me. And that was my thing. You're not going to mute me.
Right.
That was
but
my
the fight
thing.
that's within is
Oh,
amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The fight that was within. Now let's talk about now, moving forward. What was the conversation when Demi first started having the symptoms of scleroderma?
Ooh. Well, for 3 years, back and forth, arguing with physicians
Okay.
who were just saying it was a calcium deficiency or
So
vitamin
at
D
first
deficiency.
they did not
They did not know.
diagnose it. Okay.
It took her, I kept telling her, I said, go get another opinion, go another opinion. By the time she went to a third opinion, getting ready to start like a whole new set of doctors, one doctor asked her a question, asked you your family history. So my mother did have osteoporosis, so they asked her arthritis. So the doctor asked her, anybody in your family has rheumatoid arthritis? Misha was like, yeah, my mom, not knowing rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease. So it's not regular arthritis.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with osteoporosis, but that was her saving grace.
Okay.
So they was like, what? So we're gonna run a full panel on you. When they run a full panel analysis of type of blood work, they're specifically looking for autoimmune diseases. Now I told you it took them 3 years, right?
Right.
She had a new doctor. By the time they found out that what was actually going on with my sister is likened to someone having stage 4 cancer.
Wow.
The thing with systemic scleroderma and finding out is that you have to catch that particular autoimmune disease early. When you catch it early, you get on treatment, you're aggressive, it impedes the autoimmune disease.
With that being said, what are some of the early symptoms for someone that may be hearing this for the first time, like me? I was not fully informed of this disease. What are some of the early symptoms that they may have their physician check them for?
I always tell people this, and this is a key thing with anybody. Fatigue. Most people diminish fatigue.
Wow.
Oftentimes in my study and being around in the medical world and different diseases of the body, most people don't realize early onset fatigue when your body, you're tired, you're taking your medicines, you mean your vitamins, you are healthy, you active, but you all of a sudden you're just tired. That is a tall tale sign something is wrong. You always want to make sure you get blood work. If you start noticing things you can't pinpoint what it is, I always tell people, did you ask your doctor to give you blood? Tell them to run you a full panel. Oftentimes, especially with women are misdiagnosed and not diagnosed in time when it comes to autoimmune disease because it's not something that you can easily pinpoint.
Right.
You have to ask for a full panel testing, and that is blood work. Most people go on physical therapy you out or, just do basic check, but people have to specifically check for autoimmune disease. You can't just guess that. You have to have the blood work. The blood is what tells it all. Fatigue, if you start noticing pain. My sister, the first signs that because she had rheumatoid arthritis, was when she was braiding my niece's hair and trying to put ponytails. She was like, it's painful. Her joints begin to shift.
Wow.
That's why they were saying calcium and vitamin C deficiency. Your body tells you anything. Another thing is if you feel pain in the body. When you feel pain in your body, you're in trouble. Because the pain is a signal that something is wrong. It's already too late. Right. You're having pain. So if you're feeling pains or you start seeing your limbs are shifting, you definitely want to get some blood work done.
Okay.
I tell people that all the time, but most time, 99% of the time, people I've spoken to, whether it's cancer or it's different type of autoimmune disease, it is the fatigue because you are tired and you can't catch up sleep.
Okay. What was the day like when the doctor told you guys that it was scleroderma and the stage that it was at that time? What was your conversation like, with your sister at that moment?
She came home when she finally got the diagnosis. We were talking, and her spirit was so heavy. I'm the bubbly one. She used to get mad at me. We used to fight about how bubbly and positive I am.
Right.
I'll start speaking to her spirit. I start praying when I start declaring life over her.
Right.
I said, baby, you're going to be this. I said, I don't care what them doctors say. You are healed, you are whole. But when it got real for me, to see how her health, because it was like once after that, they had told her she had 6 months to 2 years to live. The first doctor was like, you're not going to live. You got 6 months to 2 years. My sister came and told me. I was like, what? I'm looking at her, this able-bodied woman. I'm like, the devil is lying. They ain't going to speak no word curse over you. So I'm going in, right? So she started having, because I have asthma now, she started having, her breathing started getting real shallow. She found out she had interstitial lung disease and COPD. Pulmonary fibrosis because of the 3 years all the time not having treatment. What scleroderma did was so what scleroderma does is 4 different types of modes of scleroderma. It either attack your internal organs, it attack your skin, and so how it affects her is basically the hardening of the skin. Sclero, it means the hardening of the skin, which causes your skin to become like leather. What it did for her, it attacked her lungs.
Okay.
So it was like basically suffocating her lungs.
Okay.
So about 6 months after she was diagnosed, 6 to 9 months, we were actually in the middle of getting ready to be launched. People didn't know this, queuing up for our own reality show. She went on oxygen. They told her, oh, you'll be off oxygen for 6 months. She never got off the oxygen.
Yeah.
When she got home that day when I came home, she said, we're going to the pulmonologist. So me and my son, we walked up to her and kissed her. Oh, da, da, da. When I came home and saw her on oxygen, it blew my mind. I went to her and I was like, what are you doing? She said, they said I got to wear this for 6 months. I went in my room, I closed my door, went in my bathroom, and I broke the sheet and I broke down crying. And I was praying, I said, God, you show me she was healed. Like, why she having oxygen? I'm talking about like, why she got oxygen? What's going on? Like, I could understand because I could feel her spirit.
It was like now becoming real.
Like her fear, like what I had felt from her that day one.
Right.
That's what she told me. So looking at how the years and things, how her health was just doing like this, and where she was, and even down to her, when we get to that point of her last hours of life, and how she handled her affairs this last week, I don't think she told me everything.
Mm-hmm. So you think maybe she was protecting you?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I remember going to your last walk at the Betty T. Ferguson Center, and I remember her energy, and I remember her talking. What was those, How did that make you feel? You know, even though she was in a wheelchair and she was on oxygen that day, but just seeing her go forward as an advocate or as a spokesman, you know, for scleroderma, how did that make you feel at that time, you know, watching your sister, you know, talk to everyone else?
So this is the tea behind that.
Okay.
I was the wind beneath her wings.
Okay.
I was her cheerleader. I was the one pumping her up to tell her story.
Okay.
She didn't want to.
She didn't want to.
Because of when we go out in public, people would look at her, and that's why we get that phrase was "Don't stare, just pray."
Right.
She felt like she was a spectacle. People would look at her as if she was a contagion. And I would just coach her up and speak to her. I said, Demetria, I said, we have to give the voice to the lepers of the day, the marginalized. Disabled Americans need a voice. They need to know their life has purpose, that you could be beautiful, you could be bold, and you could be courageous, and had to coach her up for that.
Right.
I said, why don't you video blog? If you feeling bad, people need to hear the voice of what disabled Americans, because you woke up one day and your body just flipped the script on you.
Right.
Think about other people, and that's when she was like, started owning the message. She started owning it. And that year, I made her butt do the walk.
Okay.
Because I planned everything. She was like, you don't let me do nothing. I said, okay, you want to see all the work that I do? You out here 1 to 20. Oh,
Yeah.
You out here leaving me? I said, leaving you? Well, okay, so you do it.
So the normal sister cat fight.
Oh, we still had that. So that year, I said, now you do it. So when she finished the walk, she said, she apologized to me.
Okay.
She says, I didn't know you did all that. You were doing all that. Man, I'm tired. I said, so she said, I apologize. My sister was angry, and she realized she was projecting.
Yeah.
You know, because again, she didn't tell me everything.
Right.
So it would come out like, you're living your life without me.
Right.
So she's grieving her life right
Yes,
there.
Yes. And then the sad part about, you know, just looking at the whole thing, you being more of the bubbly one, as you say, she's being more of an introvert, you know, kind of dealing with everything. Looking from your childhood to now, scleroderma, you know, so that by itself, you know, I'm sure, you know, if she was here and she's here in spirit,
Oh, yeah, she is.
she appreciate you being her cheerleader, because it's almost like going from pain to more pain to now tragedy to more pain. Let's talk about that last week.
Oh, honey, that
What
last
was
week.
Demi like before you received the phone call? Because I remember when the phone call took place, because your publicist had called me and told me to pray. And from that, but leading up to that week, what was Demi like that week?
That week, okay, so I felt, looking backwards now, even when she passed, I was so focused on you're healed, you're whole. I didn't catch that she was giving me
Transition.
her last will and testament.
Yeah.
That week, like, it was crazy because, like, okay, so I was real strict with her on her diet. Like, listen, just get mad at me. There was certain things that she wanted, right? And I was like, no, you can't have that. You know, because you know the steroids make you crave certain
Right.
things. This week, I went against myself. I mean, one day I waited 2 hours in Publix waiting on these fresh baked cookies. I said, listen, I can't go home without these miniature-sized macadamia nut cookies. For my sister, I just felt the need to get this to her, right?
Right.
So that was like early that week, and I had little things and gifts, like her little treats and stuff. Like I made, like I splurged, you know? And then I remember it was that Wednesday, I gave her the first treat. That Thursday, we were having these existential conversations. She was like talking about God in a way. She says, you know, telling me about the ancestors and so many different other things and life after death. And she says, you know, I know at church folks, we don't talk about this, but she was telling me certain things. And she said, you know, when people transition, you know, with our ancestors, they would light a white candle because they can be able to see the glory of God. And she's telling me all these different things. And normally I'd be like, girl, whatever. But for 4 hours, I just let her talk.
Right.
So I'm laying in her bed, letting her talk, whatever. So we having, you know, this full conversation. And so I went to sleep with her. All of a sudden, she was like, get out. I was like, get out. She's like, I'm in pain. Like she was in excruciating pain. And she was like, I need you to go. I'm like, what? So I was upset with her. I was like, how you kicking me out? Because that day I just wanted to lay up on her.
Just wanted to be
I just
with
wanted
her.
to lay up on her. She always get mad at me. Why you don't want to come lay with me? And I'd be like, girl, I want to stretch or whatever. So I reluctantly got out of her bed. I was like, fine, you want to be nasty? You want to be a negative Nancy? Go on, be a negative Nancy. That was Thursday. And then Friday, that whole week, she was talking about in pain, but her heart was palpitating. And her blood pressure was spiked just astronomically. And she was like, listen, I'm barely moving and my heartbeat, that's Friday. She texted me at 12:55 a.m. She says, look, she screenshotted me her vitals on where her rate was. She says, look, I ain't even moving and my heartbeat is dancing at its own rhythm. It's got its own thing going on. And I was like, are you okay? I was like, Demetria, why don't you go to the hospital? So the whole week she was bucking to go to the hospital because she wasn't going to Chicago next week to have a girl trip to go be with her bestie in Chicago for her to get away because she was up under stress. So I was like, okay, Demetria, just relax. You know, you don't want to go to the hospital because she was adamant. So she was hospitalized 9 times that year in 2018.
Wow.
So she said, I'm not going to the hospital. She was adamant. She said, I'm not going because I don't want to spend another 45 days in no hospital. I'm not going to the hospital. We kept saying, Demetria, you need to go to the hospital. That was that Friday, June 1st, June 2nd. That morning, I was getting ready to go to a meeting, take nephew to mentoring. So I went in the room, I was like, Demetria, you're gonna be okay because my son and her daughter were gonna be there till my nephew got back from mentoring. He had a program, and I said, you gonna be okay with the kids? And she was tired. She was like, I'm just tired, I've been up, I couldn't sleep, but I'll be fine. I said, okay, well, I laid out everything. I said, listen, I lay out everything, so you know, the door open, I said with the kids, you know, you'll be good. I left everything out so you won't have to get up the kids, you know, I talk to the kids, whatever.
Right.
You'll be fine. I'm at meeting and my spirit was vexed. I'm sitting there and I could feel something was off.
Okay.
So the meeting was like a 4-hour meeting as I got done. I was supposed to been gone from that morning to about 11 o'clock at night. I rushed home.
Right.
I called back and said, hey, I won't be able to make this next meeting. I just felt the need to get
felt
home.
it, yes.
So I get home. At this time, I didn't realize I heard her take her last breath. I did not know that because she was on oxygen.
Right.
And I'm in the house, and then the kids go, they want to watch TV, so we cut the TV on. So this movie called Coco. They wanted to watch this movie. I knew nothing about this movie. So as I'm watching the movie, and this movie is identical to the conversation me and Demetria had that Thursday
Wow.
about life after death and transitioning and how people in the spirit not at peace and the spirit at
Right,
peace.
right.
And I'm literally, it's freaking me out. So in the house, I'm literally like, I'm in the house and I can literally just feel, it just start feeling eerie to me. So I kept doing like this because I'm literally looking at her in the room.
In the room.
I can hear the oxygen machine is loud. So I'm watching. I was like, okay, because of where her heart was, we had this thing where I would kiss her, like when I got home, kiss her on the forehead, say, hey, baby girl, I'm home. That's why I didn't know her to take her last breath. I said, hey, baby girl, I'm home. Don't worry about it. I got the kids. I'm telling her I had to cancel my meeting. Get your rest.
Right.
So by the time the movie finished, my nephew comes. I was rushing to go to a wedding rehearsal because Demetria and I was supposed to be hosting this wedding for our god sister. So I told Tasha, hey, I got the food out, blah, 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 blah. They good. So we literally, I'm walking out, he walking in, boom. So I'm thinking my sister's okay. Soon as the food come out for the rehearsal party for us planning, I got a call. Tia, mommy's not responsive. She's not breathing. She's cold. I said, call 911. I'm coming home. I got from the restaurant on Las Olas to Mommy Gardens 10 minutes flat. I'm on 95 going to the turnpike. I'm speeding. I got my last, I done passed like 3 FHP with my speeding, and I'm blowing the horn with my emergency. Like, they know I'm rushing to an emergency. So I had called on my apostle. I said, Daddy, I need you to pray with me. Because this is a crazy part, because that morning when I woke up, Spirit said, when I called forth Lazarus from the grave, when he came forth with his grave clothes on.
Yes.
And I kept saying that. That's what I woke up. And I told Tasha, I said, what was that? I'm like, God, because, you know, I told you I'd be praying about the preachers. I said, God, was that preachers? What are you talking about? So even in the meeting, when my spirit was vexed, I kept hearing, when I called forth Lazarus, when he came forth, and I said, okay, God, you keep saying, like, what is this? So I said, God, Daddy, what you showing me? So then in the spirit, God showed me that when Lazarus, when he was sick, decrepit, I could smell spirit of infirmity. I see this real sick Lazarus. When he came forth, I seen this young,
Yes.
handsome, vibrant, healthy. I was like, God, what are you showing me? So when they told me that, Ty called me, was like, she gone. I was like, what you talking about? I was already up the street. I'm like, what you talking about? I was gone. Like mentally, I'm literally in autopilot. I get to the place, get the police, everything. Like when I tell you the community had already started mourning. First responders were there, they knew us from the community. When I saw the main fireman, he's boo-hoo crying, look at me. I was like, no, I lost it. I lost it. I kept saying, let me go see her. I need to speak to her spirit. The police wouldn't let me see her. I'm like, I need to go talk to her spirit. She not dead, she not dead. They would not let me see her. And I fought them tooth and nail to let me see her before they pulled her out. And I blessed her body, I prayed over her, and in my book is gonna find out like how people in the room was shocked to see how even in her death, we had that twin connection.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
It's hard to digest all of this. We have reached the end of this broadcast, but I want you to tell our audience, listen, this is a book that you absolutely must get. But I want you to tell the audience where they can follow you and also find out about your nonprofit that you have with Scleroderma. We want to support this cause. We want to support Davika. And listen, today we just kind of dealt with the surface.
Okay.
I'm sure it's a whole lot more things that we need to read about in that book. Let our audience know where they can follow you.
You could follow me at Davi, D-A-V-I Speaks _ on Instagram, and The Real Wonder Twins with a Z on Instagram. We do have a fan page on Facebook, The Wonder Twins, and Late Night with Davi, D-A-V-I on Facebook. Also, you can catch two entities. It is the Wonder Twins LLC, and I launched at the end of last year the Demi Foundation,
Awesome.
which is primarily the
Yay,
nonprofit.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Empowering scleroderma, mental health awareness, and literacy for children.
Listen, this story has impacted my life. It has, and also, I believe it have impacted the world. So please make sure you follow Davika. And until next time on Help Me Heal, where real people are helping real people, I need you to be healed. Thank you.